AP. Good morning from beautiful downtown Blue Ridge. We're at Blue Jeans Pizza. We've got a full morning, a great show lineup this morning. It is now time for Ask the Doc with Dr. William Whaley. Also, we want to thank Georgia Cancer Specialist. Right after this, the Blue Ridge Wine and Jazz Festival, and then the Political All-Star Panel. So it's a great morning. I'm also here with Katie Sassine. Her show's at 10 o'clock. Dr. Whaley, how are you today?
I'm great.
Well, you know, here's the thing. First of all, we've established, folks, that Tab is okay for you. So if you're asking, it's okay to drink Tab.
Yeah, right.
Okay?
Last week we talked about
you just have to go on the internet and put in soft drinks from 1970 and they'll come up. Yeah. But I'm okay with that. We had Tab.
My mom said he drinks Tab.
So you're becoming famous, known as Dr. Whaley, the guy that drinks Tab.
I'm Deputy Sheriff Whaley this morning.
Deputy Sheriff Whaley.
Yes, I am.
Now, I feel, before we get started, I feel every day that I have made, every Friday, I feel like at 8:15, I've made a doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
Nobody could ever accuse me of not going to see the doctor.
That's right, they can.
Can't do it.
But you're at the Sheriff's Department this morning.
Okay, I am interested on, tell Katie and I why you are Deputy Sheriff Whaley this morning.
Okay. Because part of what we're going to talk about today is marijuana and medical marijuana, and I'm the medical director to the Zell Miller Mountain Drug Task Force. But tomorrow is National, what day?
I don't know.
Turn in your prescriptions day.
Oh, is it?
It is. So tomorrow is the day that all over the United States you can take your prescriptions from your dead dad or what you not are taking anymore and take them to the local sheriff's department or police departments. 42,000 or something are going to be taking them in. And it's not safe really to flush them down the toilet, throw them in the garbage, because those can get into landfills and it's just not the right thing to do. Interestingly enough, the Fannin County Sheriff's Department has Take Your Prescription Back Day every day. They actually have.
But tomorrow's a
national day. So
I want to thank you. I want to thank you for highlighting that.
People need to think about that because they have their dead, people dying, and what am I supposed to do with this? They'll bring them back to us, and it's really not the law doesn't allow you to take those drugs in, put them on your desk, and give them to somebody who can't afford them. Some physicians, not mentioning who, do that a little bit, but that you really should dispose of them in a safe fashion. Flushing them down the toilet and throwing them in the garbage is not one.
So tomorrow, folks, is national, and what we need to do is, Sam, we'll need to find that out and make sure we post that, because we want to get all the information out there for you, because Dr. Whaley, you have so much already lined up, and Katie and I are waiting to hear it, and I don't want to get in the way, but opiates, I'm so upset because I'm just so upset because every day at the top of my news feeds on about 9 to 10 different websites I go in, there is something concerning opiates.
Okay, we discussed that last week, and actually you put it down to talk to Senator Ralston about.
Right.
There was a study that was released yesterday that I think is extremely important. Since we began this way back last year, have been an advocate for the appropriate medical use of marijuana, for laws that allow in states people with certain seizure disorders and so forth to use marijuana products. Yesterday, a really good study was published that looked at 3 separate time periods, the period of 1991 and 1992, when no states in the Union had legalized marijuana, 2001 and 2002, when 18% of the population of the United States lived in states with recreational marijuana allowed, and 2012 and 2013, where 34% of the population lived in states where recreational use of marijuana was allowed. Now, you got that?
Yes.
That's 3 time periods: 0, 18%, 34%. In those states, now that's a long time, it's been very carefully studied. In those states, the percentage of people who actually became drug addicted or had marijuana dependency issues was infinitely higher than in the states that did not allow recreational use of marijuana. So the first step here is that the states that allowed marijuana to be used recreationally and sold them, or sold marijuana, not the marijuana oil like we have in Georgia.
Right.
The percentage of people who became dependent on marijuana or used marijuana illicitly went up. Second part of that study, the people who used marijuana illicitly had an entry drug. And what was the entry drug that got them, what percentage of people had a higher chance in a state where you could buy marijuana of using marijuana illicitly? It's easy, tobacco. 40% higher that teenagers or young adults who smoke cigarettes would smoke marijuana, and then that's the entry drug. Well, when you get to the opiate issue, the opiate epidemic is not an epidemic. Well, there is an epidemic of heroin that's got fentanyl with it, but it's really the prescription drug epidemic.
Right, it is, yes.
All right, now if you want to take the guy that's using methamphetamine, which is the one you make in your basement, which is not the one that we're talking about today. We're talking about diversion of oxycodone, OxyContin,
right,
and prescription drugs. The people that get hooked on those drugs generally are recreational users of marijuana. So you've got a progression. Your 16-year-old starts smoking cigarettes. By 17 or 18, they're playing with marijuana. Now, if you don't have a box around them and have good education and good discipline, it is that environment where they're out there behind the barn or somewhere smoking the marijuana, where another guy, a little older guy, is going to have a pill. And I think that you got to watch the use end of this. The thing about Trump's initiative and the initiative about making this a national priority is he didn't just stick with the arresting folks and putting them in jail. He is, the last guy to do this was Nixon, to really create a prevention and a treatment strategy at the bottom, because somebody's got to buy it. And if you could eliminate the market, and then on the opposite side eliminate the supply, maybe you'll hit the problem. So that's we were.
Well, no, I mean no, but opiate every news feed I have opens up the opiate addiction. I mean, Katie, I just say in young people, what do you see? What concerns do you have with opiate addictions that you see?
Well, I personally knew someone when I was 16 who was addicted to opiates, and I never knew it until she ended up going to rehab much later. But I could always tell, she was kind of out of touch. I knew one person that died of heroin. She was 19 and I was 18. It was a friend of my best friend, and she was just devastated. Her boyfriend broke up with her, and she got into different kinds of drugs and started messing with the wrong people, started getting access to heroin, and she's no longer with us today. And that's someone that I called a friend. So I've personally seen sad scenarios with opiate usage. As far as
did she start with cigarettes and then go to pot?
She did smoke cigarettes, but I mean, I don't know where she started. She was older than me, so these were the older girls. So
yeah, she was the old one in the group. Yeah.
Anyway, that's a series of one. But I just want to tell you that story generally starts with somebody messing with cigarettes at 40, messing with
I can tell you it was
step up.
It was she did step up.
Let me say this. Let's be clear on the medical marijuana versus recreational states that right. What is the actual name for the oil?
THC oil.
Yes, the THC oil, and that's what's legal in Georgia.
Correct.
Right, not recreational.
Correct.
So you're talking about the states, not in.
We're talking about Colorado, Washington, Oregon,
right,
where they got pot stores. You walk in there and buy pot. California, but My brother's in Washington and Oregon.
Okay, so we have some great information. We're going to look this up later today. We're going to put it on our website this afternoon. We're going to find it. Sam, we want to find out on all of the law enforcement that we can, where people can go, the information they can get, because tomorrow is National Turn in Prescription Day at your local sheriff's office and law enforcement. And also what Dr. Whaley is telling you, if you have a loved one that has died and you're going and cleaning out the medicine cabinet, they don't want you to flush it. They don't want you to do anything with it. They want you to bring it to your local law enforcement and turn it in.
Fannin County does it 365 days a year.
But tomorrow's the National Day.
National Day. Okay. Second thing was, we got a quiz. What's on my tie?
Batteries.
Shotgun shells.
I'm wearing this in honor of Mr. Trump coming today for the NRA convention. These are shotgun shells on this.
Nice attempt, Katie. We're going to go
custom
I have
silk.
shot a few guns.
Those were shotgun shells.
Custom silk tie, and I'm invited to a reception with Mr. Trump this afternoon at 4 o'clock. And if
Do you need a driver?
I need $25,000 to get in there to get my picture taken.
I didn't ask you that. I said a driver.
No, I could have you and a driver with $25,000.
I got the little hat. I'll wear the little hat, everything.
I've got the car you can drive, don't forget.
Yes.
But anyway,
that's why I asked.
I'm seeing patients, so I can't go. But if you'd like to go for $5,000, you can get the finger food. But the point I'm trying to make is, you were saying earlier that he's sort of a man of the people, that he really does. I mean, I used to say so-and-so thinks his stool doesn't stink, which is not exactly what I said, but I think he acts like a normal guy.
I agree.
My good friend Gene Gollum, who manages the John Hancock Center, is one of the largest real estate developers in Chicago and in Palm Beach. I was talking to him on Sunday about his wife, and he is as far divergent from Trump on politics as you can be, and he's developing a big condo thing there in Palm Beach, where the 2-bedroom condo is $5 million. So it's going to be a sort of a special building. And he's had quite a few meals with Trump, who he absolutely does not agree with on anything. And he says he's the nicest guy. He's a regular guy. And then when you talk to him, you feel like you're talking to a colleague and a regular guy. He is not superior. Well, I know Mr. Clinton, and I know that he acted like he was superior. I've watched Mr. Obama, and I know he acted like he was superior. So anyway, that's what I want to say
But
about
they call it diplomatic.
That's why I'm wearing that.
Oh, yeah, but I don't want to gloss over this. Are you going to the reception?
No, I'm seeing patients.
Oh, okay. Well, if you change your mind, I will drive. I got the little hat. I will say, sir, Dr. Whaley, anything. Okay. You got it? Just so don't forget, okay?
Pete Petit, that was was Trump's finance manager for Georgia during his campaign. He's really big on getting Karen Handel elected. And that's what this whole thing's about.
He will, yes, he is going to be the first sitting president since Ronald Reagan to speak at the NRA. I'm not telling you what to do, but we probably need to go back to
medicine. Oh, yeah. Gosh, okay. Everybody is asking, about cancer prevention. I had a patient yesterday who's got 3 family members with colon cancer who hadn't had a colonoscopy in 10 years. And I said, are you taking your aspirin for colon polyp prevention? And she looked at me like I'd lost my head. A long time ago, I told you need to be taking a baby aspirin. It's good for heart disease prevention. Right. Here's the study that came out on Monday of this week. Now, this is a 32 years long time, longitudinal study of 130,000 people. Now, you can't say that's not a statistically valid study. It's amazing. All right. If you take the equivalent of 1.5 adult aspirins a week, well, if you stop and think that a baby aspirin is 1/5 of an aspirin, that's an 81 milligram baby aspirin every day. Females get a 7% reduction in the lifetime risk of cancer. That's a pretty small price to pay for that. And men get a 15% reduction in all forms of cancer. It is much bigger in colon cancer. So we say, once again, lifestyle change, diet, go get your colonoscopy and take your baby aspirin. Got that one?
Right.
All right.
I have a question of my own.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I mean, I guess.
No, go ahead.
Well, you know, I make an appointment here every Friday at 8:15. So I've thought to myself, I see all these questions. I thought maybe I could have one myself.
All right.
Went through the pollen / sinus infection / bronchitis, okay? Did I did a round of antibiotics, feel great.
Did you take the Zyrtec, the Nasonex, and the other stuff I told you on this program before the pollen started?
Everything. I took the allergy.
You said no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sam is shaking her head no. She did not see you use an Aspirin or Flonase nasal spray.
How did you get in this?
He only uses it in the bathroom with the doors closed.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, could I please, I'm trying to ask the doctor a question.
Right.
So, that's the question. I've hung on to the cough though. I mean, it's like everything got better and then just recently it's like I've hung on to the cough.
You may do that for as long as 3 months.
Really?
Yes. And there are some cough suppressants you can take, but if you should take that over-the-counter Clarinex Allegro Zyrtec every day from now until October. And Zyrtec is the one that makes you a little bit sleepy. It stops you from itching and might be a little bit more effective. I don't take it because it makes me sleepy. But they're all over the counter and they're cheap. And if you really are having, you can feel it coming, dripping down your neck. It ain't going anywhere because George is going to have a 2,000 pollen count from now until October. Then you go ahead and you get the Flonase next. It's cheap. It's over the counter. Don't buy the Flonase. Buy the generic one right beside it. And you use it once a day. And if you're still having an issue, you buy the Aspirin right beside it. So you got 2 different nasal sprays and you got to decongest it. And what's the percentage of people over the age of 30 that I told you will have those symptoms living in this community in this summer and fall? You remember?
No, you never tell me there's a test from week to week. I'll bring I'm going to start bringing all my notes.
It was
I just
80,
guessed that.
No, you didn't.
I just guessed
Well, it was 80 to 90%. Now, it's going to be like 30% that got it immediately in April, and some of those, like my wife, will take it all the way through to October because you've got a whole different set of grasses and trees and so forth. And some people are allergic just to some of them, but many of them have that allergy to dust mites and cockroaches, and you got the cockroaches coming out right now. So that once it starts, it's going to go all the way through the end of the season, and in the fall you got the ragweed and the tree, so you've got a whole spectrum of stuff. It starts in early March. It's not going to end until it really gets cold in October or something like that. So I say take it every day between now and.
So I
don't take antibiotics. This is not infectious.
No, this is, I had a sinus infection.
And I'm not real sure that was a good deal then either. I'm not going to argue the point. But the deal is, if you go into a busy family practitioner's office, he's got 50 people in the waiting room, and you say, it's the knee-jerk response, and you say, I've got blowing this stuff out of my head and I'm coughing, and if you answer these questions, no. Have you had any chills, fevers of over 101? Are you producing any sputum that is brown or markedly discolored? Do you have any significant pressure in any sinus in your head? And the answer to those 3 questions is no, you shouldn't be given an antibiotic. But it's a lot quicker for that guy to write you an antibiotic and to sit there to take a long and in-depth history and discuss with you are you aching? Lots of different things that will tell you whether you need the antibiotic or not. And all you have to do is turn on your news, and one of the largest health problems in this country is antibiotic-resistant bacteria. That's blamed on 2 things. Doctors writing prescriptions quickly to get somebody out of the office, and the second is
people who don't take all of their antibiotics.
Well, that's the second one. I'll give you the third one. That's the antibiotics that they've given all the cows and the chickens that they shouldn't be given since that. You remember that? We talked about that when we talked about foods a few weeks ago. Go ahead.
One more thing. I don't know what you have left. Our time is short, but I actually want to talk to you about something. Veterans, okay? Because yes, you are a veteran, and I appreciate you. We do here at the show. Trump seems to be keeping his promises where veterans are concerned. How do you feel about the executive order yesterday and the direction he is going?
I am of the opinion that the government should be more like a business. Only, unfortunately, businesses are getting out of hack either. And that is, if you can't cut the mustard, you got to go find someplace else to work. The biggest thing about the management of some of our government agencies is what they used to call the Peter principle. You rise to here and you generate,
right.
You generate your job for job security, and you got to drain the swamp. And the swamp's not politics. The swamp is inefficient and inadequate people. The busy family practitioner, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, sees up to 40 patients a day. A specialist, let's say a cardiologist or a cancer doctor, might see 20, might see 30, depends on how busy he is and how sick they are. But when a VA doctor sees 8 a day, then the VA doctor is inefficient. The VA has never had a job requirement, a production requirement for their medical staff. They've had all this level of management who's never had. If you take any kind of job in management information, customer service, go to Costco or Walmart, and you'll see on their employee of the month thing how many people they checked out per hour. They measure their output of their work. There is some quality measure they have to hit. If they don't hit it, they don't get promoted, or they get retrained, or they get fired. Well, that doesn't exist in most government agencies, whether it's a State Department or not. But the most visible one, really the only government agency that's visible to the public in its success rate and in the product it's developing for us, is the VA. Because so many people have to go into the VA and they have to be manipulated and they have to come out like making a car or something. You don't see that at the State Department. You don't see that at the EPA. They don't make a product that the average person can see. Well, if you think the VA is inefficient, what about the IRS? What about the rest? Anyway, so what he's doing for veterans is multifaceted, but when he says the VA is going to be held accountable and we're going to put somebody in there that's going to make sure that the people are doing their job and at least meet some minimum requirement, I think it's great.
I hate to put it in a window of a minute, but was there something in your notes today we wanted to make sure?
Yes, there was. I wanted to say something. The Blue Jeans Pizza, last night, as he knows, my wife came by here and got the meatball sauce, no pasta, and she gave me a meal over spinach with his meatball sauce, best I've had in a year, even that one that was made by my daughter. But when we were talking about diet here a few weeks ago, and I mentioned the using spinach or something instead of pasta, or using the whole grain pasta, and people who are worried about their calories, my wife heard me, and she fed me last night, and I just got to tell you, it was wonderful.
Well, I have a question for you.
It was not a pizza breakfast. It was very healthy meatballs over spinach.
Next week we will be at Sycamore Crossing. Do we need to give you directions?
No, I can find it.
Can you find it?
No, I'm still spending money there, if you know what I mean.
I thought so. Dr. Whaley, I appreciate it. I look forward to next week. We're going to be outside at Sycamore Crossing. Today we're at Blue Jeans Pizza. We're going to hear the 9 o'clock train whistle. We're going to come back right after this. It's time to talk about Jazz, Wine and Jazz Festival, the Blue Ridge Mountain Wine and Jazz Festival. And we're going to have the very own Terry Ellis with Charisma Entertainment with us right on the other side of this commercial. Sam, take us a break.
Days Chevrolet in Jasper. We make everything better. It all starts with a huge new Chevy selection. Then we heap on the discounts to make sure your Chevy price is the lowest you'll find anywhere. And if you like great customer service, you'll love it at Days. Bigger selection, lower prices, easy financing, and great customer service. Your better day is just ahead at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevys cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Family owned and operated, and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices,
friendly service, and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey in Ellijay.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
What you gonna do with all that junk?